The Los Angeles Lakers have some soul searching to do this offseason after losing to the Minnesota Timberwolves in just 5 games, which was surprising to many because the Lakers were supposed to win in 5 games. It was supposed to turn out in the opposite fashion. But of course, here we are looking at an offseason of uncertainty. There are a lot of questions to be answered. What is going to happen with this roster? How are they going to go in to 2025, 2026? Well, in this video, I want to discuss exactly how I believe the Lakers should address this offseason and how they should approach next year, because I believe they're this close to winning a championship. Now, first and foremost, we have to address the Luka trade because it's the big trade that shook the entire league up. No one saw it coming. And even though it didn't win them a title this year, it's the trade you had to make. It's the trade you never thought you could make. It's the trade that you should have made. You get Luka freaking Doncic, one of the best players I've ever seen. In fact, I believe when Luka's playing at his best, I don't think I've seen a better player outside of perhaps Jokic, Curry, and LeBron. That's how good I consider Luka Doncic to be, even though he is overweight, even though he's not in the greatest shape right now. That's how good he is. And you were able to land him for AD. Now, AD's no scrub, of course, but you get Luka freaking Doncic. You had to make the deal. But by making that deal, you signed up for a big issue. And it's an issue that's been covered by many people. It's an issue that's very obvious. It's glaring. It's right in your face. And that issue is the fact that the Lakers have no size. Now, of course, they have Jackson Hayes. Jackson Hayes is not a terrible center. He's incredibly athletic. I've seen him pull off some of the craziest dunks, both in transition and off the pick and roll that, well, basically any center has in history. But the brutal reality is that he is a DeAndre Jordan clone that doesn't do half of what DeAndre Jordan did. And that's just not going to cut it for this Lakers team. It's not going to cut it defensively. It's not going to cut it offensively. And in my opinion, they could have won this series versus the Timberwolves if they simply had the Polish hammer. You remember the Polish hammer, Marcin Gortat, the Gortat screen, back in the Washington Wizards heyday? Well, not the heyday, but the good days with John Wall, Bradley Beal, Trevor Ariza, Paul Pierce. You remember when the Wizards were actually good, not terrible like they are now, with Jordan Poole and that gang of misfits. A gang that might actually be good in a few years, but that'll be for another video. In any case, Marcin Gortat could have won the Lakers this series because he was good enough defensively and he was solid enough IQ-wise to be the center the Lakers needed in this series. That's the most important thing. They need a center with IQ. They need multiple centers with IQ. They don't need centers with an incredible scoring prowess. They don't even need super athletic centers. They need centers with IQ, centers who know exactly how to set the screen, exactly when to set the screen, how to roll off it in the most effective manner. They need centers like that. They need centers who are incredibly smart defensively. When do they go for the block? When do they not go for the block? This is my problem with so many centers and bigs, especially Jaren Jackson Jr., a guy who just flails, a guy who just goes for everything, tries to swat everything, undisciplined, low IQ. Yes, it works for the stat sheet, but it's not good defense. It might put you in the depoy running, but that's because, well, if you go for enough blocks in the regular season, you'll look good on paper. But in my opinion, I would rather have a guy who's a little bit more discerning in when he goes for a block, when he goes for a steal, when he just plays solid defense. If you get a couple of those guys, this team is going to be a lot better immediately. Now, who are those guys? Well, that's a good question, isn't it? Because I don't know where you find them. A lot of the vets are out of the league. Do you call them back in? Do you call Dwight Howard up again? Yeah, maybe he could help, but I don't know if he's in NBA shape. I don't know if he's really that guy anymore. It's been 5 years since they won that title. It's been a while. I know it doesn't seem like it, but it's been a while. Is he really still the center that can hold back Jokic? Is he really still the center that can even match up against Rudy? I don't know. So where are these guys? Well, you got to find them. And I know that's not very helpful, but you have to find intelligent centers. Centers who have experience. Centers who are smart. Not just athletic, smart. Centers who know how to win ball games. If you can get those guys, even just one, that's a huge improvement. But beyond just getting bigger to match up with a team like Minnesota, You need to get LeBron off the ball. And I mean every single possession, because even though LeBron is still 25, 8, and 7, shooting 51% from the floor and 37 from 3, he should not be handling the ball at this stage in his career. Not because he can't do it, but because he shouldn't do it. No, in my opinion, I believe LeBron James needs to transition into his Wilt Chamberlain era. He needs to become the Wilt Chamberlain that won his first title in Philadelphia and the Wilt Chamberlain that won his second title in Los Angeles. Funny enough. The Wilt Chamberlain that decided to facilitate more than score. The Wilt Chamberlain that focused on rebounding, hitting the glass. The Wilt Chamberlain that focused on effort. The Wilt Chamberlain that focused on being a team player, a hub for the offense that wasn't looking to score all the time. A Wilt Chamberlain that played incredible defense, that blocked shots, that went for steals, that played smart, that played wise basketball because he was a really smart player. But for years, he just decided to score all the time because maybe he just wanted to have fun. Maybe he just didn't care about winning then, and then he got fed up, so he decided to play a little bit more intelligently. In any case, LeBron should transition into that role. He should be on the block every single play. They should be running the offense through him in a different manner. He should be setting screens. He should be rolling off of screens. He should be setting back screens on the block. He should be coming up off Iverson cuts, not even to shoot, but to then get momentum, come around, and then perhaps find shooters in the corner or on the wings. He should be moving around like Steph and not really looking to score, but more so just causing chaos, being someone that you have to be worried of, setting screens, diving here, finishing there. That's what he should be. Because if he focuses on being a center and scoring 18 points a game instead of 25, this Lakers team would be much better. Because I think Luka and Austin Reeves can pick up the slack. And in fact, if you get LeBron scoring 18 a game, you might be able to find another player who can pick up the slack as well, who can make this offense more well-rounded. Perhaps if you're able to swing, I know this is odd, but if you could get a guy like Zubac, a guy that you used to have, imagine that. LeBron, Luka, Zubac, Austin Reeves, that's a good foursome right there. That's a really good foursome. LeBron stepping back and scoring, Austin Reeves accelerating to 20, 21 points a game, Zubac 16 points a game. That would be a roster right there because Zubac is smart. He has a floater. He has touch. He knows how to defend. He plays wise basketball, and I believe he can be a contributor to winning. That's just an example off the top of my head. Would the Clippers ever deal him? I don't know. I just made a video on why they should, or at least consider it because their team's not going anywhere except for where they're at. But nonetheless, this is where I think they need to go. They need to get some size, and then they need to get LeBron off the ball because this is Luka's team. I don't know if Luka's going to make it 10 years. I don't know if Luka's going to make it 15. I certainly don't think he's going to be LeBron, but I could be surprised. In any case, it's his team now because he's in his prime. He's 30, 32, 33 points a game, 10 rebounds, 10 assists a game, like clockwork, every single night. He should be controlling the ball. But on Luka, it's not just about him being the superstar. It's about him getting in shape. If you're JJ Redick, you have to be hard on him. You need to tell him that you need to show up this offseason in the best shape of your life. He needs to get down to where he was in Dallas. Not necessarily rookie year, but maybe sophomore year, junior year. That's where he needs to be. He needs to be lighter. He needs to be quicker on his feet. He needs to be able to attack the rim, put more pressure on defenses because he's still so talented to where he can make those Larry Bird crazy shots, those floaters, those wild one-leggers, those step backs that are immaculate. But like I've said about Kevin Durant before, there's something psychologically that breaks down in a defense when you're a superstar and you can attack the rim and you put pressure on it night in and night out. This is why LeBron's not as good anymore. The stats are there, the skill is there, but he doesn't attack the rim the same way. Look at the eye test. It doesn't lie. He doesn't attack the rim in the same manner, just like Luka doesn't attack the rim in the same manner. There's a difference when you come thundering in and you can finish on anyone. That wears down your opponent psychologically, puts fear into them. That's why LeBron in his early Cavs days was so great, was because he could fly high above the rim. He could finish over three guys. He was a freight train, L train. He was terrifying, but now he's not the same. Luka needs to get into better shape so that he can attack the rim more. So he doesn't have to settle for these step backs. So he doesn't have to settle for these wild floaters, these wild one-leggers. Because even though he can make them, it's not efficient. It's not going to be winning basketball for this team. At least not to the point where you would want to bet all your chips on it. I want to put probability on our side. I believe probability for the Lakers would increase of them winning a title if he's in better shape. So what are you going to do? Size, LeBron at the 4, on the block, Luka getting in better shape. And then 4, Austin Reeves. Keep developing him. Give him the ball more. Give him more opportunities. Allow him to be the 2 guy instead of the 3 guy. Like I said with LeBron, let him step back. Let Austin Reeves become the 2 guy. Let him score 22, 23, 24 a night. Let him turn into a superstar, an all-star. Really give him the ball. Really work on his game. Encourage him. Give him confidence. I know JJ Redick's going to do it. But then 5th, and finally, you just need to instill more unity in the roster. They need more time. They need time to grow together. They need time to build a bond that transcends the body, that transcends basketball itself. Because this game is not just about the X's and O's. It's not just about how you play. It's not just about what you do on the court. It's about how you feel. It's about how you think. It's about why you're doing it. They need a why. And I think JJ can do that if he can look in the mirror, which this is 6, the final step. JJ needs to look in the mirror and realize that perhaps what got him to this point is not going to get him to win an NBA title as a coach. He couldn't do it with the Clippers, and he hasn't done it yet as a coach, even though he's only had 1 year. He hasn't done it as a coach. So perhaps, maybe just maybe, what prevented him from winning at Duke, at least everything, and what prevented him from winning on the Clippers, at least everything, is going to prevent him from winning a title in Los Angeles as a coach unless he can change that. Maybe he needs to talk to Phil Jackson. Maybe he needs to sit down with the Zen master and realize that this game is spiritual. This game transcends the body. It's something from the ethereal. And if you could tap into that, if he can transform, if he can go through an ascendancy where he gains a bigger perspective, a wider perspective, a more holistic perspective on this game and his life as a whole, he's going to be able to translate that in his communication to the roster, and that will instill the why within this team that will build the unity, build the bond, and then the X's and O's that I laid out before, the roster construction that I laid out before, that will make more sense. That will get them over the mountaintop. That will get them to the other side. Now, of course, the world's dynamic. You can't predict everything, but this is what I believe the Lakers need to do in order to really compete next year. And if they do it, well, that's a good a chance as they're going to have. And if they don't get it done, then they don't get it done. But I want probability on our side, and I love to see it happen. So with that, I say, let me know what you think in the comments. What do you think about my 6 steps? Do you think any of them have holes? Do you think I'm crazy? Do you think I'm on point? Let me know in the comments below. How would you fix this roster? What would you do this offseason? What do you think needs to be changed? Let me know. And with that, I say God bless. Have a fantastic evening. I'll see you in the next video. This is the New Da Vinci.